You're listening to At Home with Allison, your local expert on real estate, business, and community.
Hello, everyone. I don't know what episode this is. Okay. I think it's like episode 10 or 11. I don't really know at this point. But yeah, welcome to the At Home with Allison show. I am your host, Allison Waters, local realtor and member of the Coweta County community. I am super excited to be here with one of my previous classmates, Andre Anderson, and he is here to talk to us about handyman stuff. Hey. Because you know how many people I hear and see posts like, does anyone know a handyman, or does anyone have a handyman that I can do something for, or that I can have something done by? And it's really awesome to get in touch with you because I didn't know anyone.
Well, yeah, I'm glad to be here. When I saw you reaching out about looking for additional vendors to help you with this, I thought, hey, this seems like a good opportunity. I remember Allison. Let me reach out. And here I am.
Yeah, no, heck yeah. No, I'm glad you're here. That's super, super awesome. Yeah, when you reached out and connected, I was like, oh my gosh, Andre, like, wow, it's been so long. So we went to middle school.
And I think ninth grade.
Okay, so did you move after ninth grade from Griffin Home? Yep. I moved after 10th grade.
Okay.
I went to Henry County after high school, so
yeah,
that was where we made our split.
We relocated to Savannah, Georgia.
Okay, wow. How long did you live there?
Through high school, actually graduated there and joined the Navy there. So, yeah, about 5 years.
Okay, awesome. So where are you based now? Where do you live?
So I live in Douglasville. We have a few offices around the metro Atlanta area, one in Midtown, one in Smyrna. Okay. And then we do a lot of operations out of Douglasville as well.
Awesome. Okay, so you definitely work in and around all metro Atlanta areas.
Yes.
So do you have family?
Yes.
Married? Have kids?
Yep. So married. I have a 3-year-old. My wife and I actually are high school sweethearts.
Oh my goodness. From Savannah?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So I met her actually in 10th grade.
Oh my gosh.
And just been attached to her ever since.
That's awesome.
So yeah, she's a travel nurse. She travels all over the country to do work.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we have a little 3-year-old. Her name is Maddie. She's just beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah, beautiful little girl. How about you?
No.
No kids?
No kids.
Okay.
I'm not married.
Okay.
I have a boyfriend. We've been together for almost 2 years.
Okay.
And he's awesome. So I'm sure we'll get married.
Now I think I did see some photos of you guys on Facebook.
Yes.
So.
We're super tight. Like, he is my best friend, no doubt. Best friend in the world, 100%. So that's really awesome. So you tell us about how you started this company. Like, what's your background? How did you merge in to starting Finishing Touches?
Okay, yeah. So my father is a second-generation carpenter, so I've always grown up working with him on the weekends. When we relocated to Georgia, he actually was sent for me during the summer. So from like age 13 to 15, those years I would just fly and help him during the summers. Make money and just learn the business. So he's always mostly been self-employed. My grandfather was self-employed. So, the roots run deep.
Yeah.
And so
that's a huge blessing.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And so it's really a natural skill, right? And so once I've taken the time as an adult to really learn the nuances to doing the various tasks or different jobs, it just started to become easy. And it's one of those things where I always wanted to try other things, right? So I tried those things, but I always found myself coming right back to working with my hands. Yeah. And so it's been fantastic.
That's really inspiring. I think that not that it's an advantage, but it's a gift that you're able to grow up with people that have these same entrepreneurial mindsets and that kind of can embed those skills into you. So that's really, really inspiring that you've been able to do that. So how long have you guys been in business?
So we've been in business since 2005. I'm sorry, 5 years, 2018.
Okay.
And so I just remembered my wife and I coming up with the business name, right? We're in our 2-bedroom apartment trying to figure out a name.
Okay.
And she's throwing ideas out there. And so we come up with Finishing Touches. And then, we offer Handyman and Maintenance Services. But before we were cosmetic upgrades and necessities.
Okay.
So 5 years in the running, up and down journey. Entrepreneurship is challenging, but the business has been really good. Yeah.
Okay. So you started out more of kind of like a cosmetic, maybe like remodel-ish.
So light remodels. We really don't get into the heavy stuff too much. It's the little things, like the little honey-do list that people come up with. I found that there was such a huge opportunity in that market. And then the customer service piece was huge too. So like when people think about a handyman service, they don't think about a professional, service. Like when you think of a name brand plumbing company or electrical company or HVAC company, they come with branded vehicles, uniforms, clean. They have marketing materials to give you. So when I thought about the business, like I just wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've done.
I think you made a huge point there. There is like not this like stigma, but when you think of handyman, a lot of the time you're thinking of like, oh yeah, my uncle can come fix your he can come fix your light bulb. He can do something like that for you. So I think it's really interesting and admirable that you'd come up with an idea that's like, hey, let's take this to the next level. Let's make this more of a company and more of a professional appearance and things like that. And I think that that probably has been a big part in your success. What do you think that you guys pride yourself in the most? Like what do you feel like you provide as a company that maybe other companies don't provide?
So we really focus on the customer journey. Like when you think about being in real estate, it's really taking care of the customer, right? And so I've got a background in customer service. I mean, I've done sales, I've done, consumer to consumer marketing, business to business. So I've got a lot of customer service experience. And so I found that if I can create an experience for our customers that they remember, that they trust, that, they'll take care of our business and the opportunity. So customer service is number one. So we have a process for everything that we do. We're methodical about when we approach your house, making sure before we come in, we put on booties and we're wearing a face mask. Although COVID, the mandates to wear a mask aren't really there now, we still do it as a courtesy. So it's just the nuances and the things that I think people take for granted that we really focus on. How do we make you feel? And when it comes down to the work, making sure we have an understanding of exactly what it is you're looking for. And we do it at a reasonable price. So money is important, but for what we do, we really just care more about the customer. How many guys do you have under Finishing Touches company that go out and actually do the handyman stuff? So right now there's 2 of us. Last year there were 5 of us. And so what happened there? So we had some challenges. Really I started to see a decline in the quality of work. Our brand has been from day one has been built on service and quality of work. And so when I start to see that be challenged, I decided to just kind of take a step back. Let's reassess the business. Let's see where we can add more value and do a better job for our customers. Yeah, that's really, I think that a lot of people think when they think of a successful business, they don't associate the challenge. They don't associate that, this company may have been through some hard times, but maybe even some things that, obviously there was probably some things that fell back on you that wasn't a representation of who you are. And you had to pivot and make those changes and do those things to get your company back to your vision. And I think that that's something that's so common with entrepreneurs is that there's so much challenge that people aren't aware of, and they may not give you credit for what you really do to actually keep things in line and keep things with the vision, and so that's really, really awesome. So if someone calls you guys and they're like, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z for me, what is that process
that you go through with them from A to Z, as far as getting all the information, getting to their house, actually doing the work? What does that process, time frame, all that stuff look like?
So, yeah, good question, Allison. So, again, we really focus on the customer journey and the experience. So we're really methodical and intentional about every part of the process. So we have a customer service representative that answers the phones Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Okay.
So she answers the phone, hey, thank you for calling Finishing Touches. How can I help you today? How may I serve you, right? And so she gets into the details of the job. Hey, what can we do for you today? The customer will explain. So the first thing is, a lot of contractors or handyman, may need to go out to a job site to look at the job to really understand exactly what's required.
Right.
Sometimes you do, right? But for us, because we do a lot of the little things, we really can determine the scope of work based off of photos.
Okay.
And a brief description from the customer. So generally we ask them to send in the information via text, email, whatever's easy for them.
Okay.
We will vet the information, look at it. So I have a operations manager that takes a look at all the work that comes in. He'll determine if it's something that we can do.
Okay.
So when we're initially talking to the customer, we're just getting all the details. So we have everyday services that are like pretty much standard stuff that we can do without pictures, right? Hanging doorknobs, replacing door hardware, hanging a light fixture. That's stuff that is pretty straightforward. So if it's one of those items, we go straight to scheduling.
Okay.
But we really want to vet the work in the beginning to make sure we're not setting false expectations for our customers.
Okay.
And so if we sign up for something, we're going to do it. And so we try to, get all the details and go through that process.
So where do you guys, and this may be a very loaded question, but where do you guys draw the line as far as we can't do that anymore? Is this like you can't work on HVAC systems, you can't do plumbing stuff, or is there like what's the point in which you're like, that's out of our expertise, or we don't want to be responsible for that?
So we try not to do a lot of remodel projects. So generally, if it takes longer than a day for us to do, we're not going to do it. Okay. So we don't want to get bogged down with a lot of large projects. We want to do this. We want to be available when the customers call. So our average jobs are about 1 to 2 hours, and each technician does 3 to 4 throughout the day. Okay. And so it's just important for us to have the availability. So we try not to get bogged down with the big stuff. We have vendors for everything we don't do. So we will do some light plumbing, light electrical work. Anything that is really too involved, we'll refer out to one of our referral partners. Okay. Now, these partners are vetted, right? We've worked with them for years. We have proof of their work. We know that when we assign a job to them, they're going to take care of it. Sure. And so, some jobs just really requires licensure, like HVAC, some electrical jobs and plumbing stuff. So if it's anything that's really outside of our day-to-day service, we'll refer out to a partner. Okay. I think that's very, very valuable for people to have that extended connection between you guys and whoever, that extra professional is. Right. Because I feel like a lot of people, especially since you guys are so professional and you have like this expanded knowledge and things like that when people call you, they may expect you to do those type of projects. But the fact that you can connect them through you to someone reliable, I think that does and says a lot for you guys as a company. And I'm sure that builds a lot with the customer as far as their trust in y'all. So as far as like, what's probably the craziest thing that you've seen or that someone's called and like asked of you or said to you or like? So that's a good question. So I just want to add on to the part where you mentioned just about, the referral network. It's important for us not to do work that we can't do a good job at. Right. It really just hurts our brand. It does not create a good customer experience when we sign up for work that we can't do. And so we do what we can do, and we're honest about that. Yeah. And so that really does set us apart, because I think a lot of, handymen that, people hear about, they'll sign up to do whatever's required just to make money. So we want to do a great job. We want the customer to be happy. So that's what we focus on. So as far as projects, like you'd be surprised. Like you just never know what you're really walking into when you go into a customer's house. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It can be kind of intense sometimes. Yeah. You know, we've been in situations where, you know, there's a verbal dispute going on between, you know, homeowners and spouses, you know, dogs, aggressive dogs. And of course, we try to tell the customer all these things in the beginning. You know, hey, when the technician arrives, you know,
keep your dog, put him up.
Keep the dogs put up. But you know, of course, you know, sometimes that doesn't happen. So yeah, you just never know sometimes what you're going to get into.
So let's talk a little bit about like your mindset and like your emotions through this process, because it's not easy running a business. It's not easy managing people. It's not easy to build yourself up as a brand. So like when you started this thing, like what was your vision?
So honestly, like I really couldn't see past, you know, a few months. My goal was to just get into the business and learn as much as I could. Right. And so when I started, I really had a limited amount of skills. I can see the work and understand how to do it, but actually, you know, physically doing the work sometimes can present some challenges. So, yeah, I've just, you know, learned along the way. And so now I'm in it, right? Like in 2021, I left my corporate job and I started the business full time. Before that, I was just doing it on nights and weekends after work. And so once I decided to make that jump, there was just a lot to it, right? I've got a family, I've got to feed them. So honestly, I just really focused on doing a good job and asking for referrals. And I think you can relate to that, especially as a real estate agent. And so now, like, you know, I've had my challenges and setbacks, right? Yeah. Last year was a tough year, a successful year, right? But it was still really challenging. And so my mindset now is just serving the customer, because I feel like in this industry and the contractor space, you know, the emphasis on taking care of the customer really has changed. Yeah. You know, it's more focused on a transactional kind of situation. And, you know, I hold a lot of value in when, you know, we get people to come into our house to do work, they do a good job and the experience is good. So, yeah, just focusing on the experience.
Yeah. So you said something interesting. You said that you decided to go full-time in 2021. Right. So that's like right post-COVID, right when a lot of crazy stuff was happening. So what was your mindset at that time? Like what, you know, and maybe I'm wrong, 2020 seemed like it may have been a really challenging year as well. So like what made you say, hey, I'm ready to take this full on in 2021? And was that a smart decision for you at that time to do that?
So I really was just, I loved my corporate job and what I did, right? But I felt like I had a lot of limitations. I felt like I had a lot of ambition and a lot of things that I really wanted to do that I felt like I could bring value. And my employer at the time, you know, just wasn't ready for me to take the next step. And so that was fine. And I decided, you know what? I've been doing this thing part-time. I've gotten a really good response from our customers. You know, I've been able to stay busy after work, so on and so forth. And so I said, you know what? Let's just do it. So I consulted my wife, of course, right?
Gotta consult the wife.
Right. And so I said, babe, you know, I'm just ready. I started to feel miserable, right? Like I hated going to work. I loved what I did, but I just really just hated being there. And so as I was making the decision, I bought 2 company vehicles, and so I would drive them to work. I had a company car for the company I worked for, but I parked it, and I just really started to get into the mind frame and started to visualize myself in the space of business ownership and entrepreneurship, and I never looked back.
Yeah. No, I think that's incredible. I think that getting into that mindset is, and faking it until you make it is such a key thing for an entrepreneur. But you feel it, you know, like you had that feeling where you're like, I'm not fulfilled. Right. And even though this is like taking care of me right now, this is not fulfilling my true potential, my true journey, or just your true desires. And it's interesting because there are so many people, because we're conditioned that way in society, to continue to do what we hate because we feel like we have to, even though we're good at it, even though it pays the bills or whatever. I feel like there's a big disconnect, and a lot of people, all of us, are still trying to figure out, how do we truly like fill our heart, and can we even, you know what I mean? Even going off on an entrepreneurial journey and doing what you are truly passionate about, it's not always successful. And I think that it's just really challenging, but also so rewarding when you can get to a point that you're at now. And I'm sure now the vision probably is getting more clear, and it's starting to expand more of like where you can actually take this. So it like gives you probably a sense of peace. But it's just interesting how the process is and that journey is to get where you are. Yeah,
and it's just like, just get started. You know, like I didn't know everything. I really didn't. And I had this vision because, you know, I just, for the employer that I was working for, I could do a couple of things and have some autonomy. And so I knew I had the ability to. It was just getting out and getting started. And so once I did that, I never looked back. And like, you know, I'm so grateful for the opportunities before this, you know, real estate, you know, working in the corporate world, sales. I did some photography. I tried to do some cell phone repair. Like, it's been like figuring out where I fit, right? And so I've always, you know, loved working with my hands. And I think that the experience I had before this, you know, running other people's businesses just really allowed me to kind of have the confidence. And the worst that could happen in that moment when I took that leap of faith was that I had to go back to work. And hey, I've done that my whole life, so it's like it's not a big deal. Let's just see what I can do. And like you said, you know, it does take a lot. It really is a lot, like, because especially as an entrepreneur, you have to get up. You have to show up for your clients. You have to do the work in order to see a paycheck.
That's something that I share. You know, I coach all these agents and train them and everything. And as you know, since you have a little bit of a past real estate, it is very similar to any other entrepreneurial job. You have to get up every single day and work like it's a 9 to 5, just because you run your own business, just because you have your own freedom. If you don't treat your job and your life, if you're not having that, like, fake it till you make it, I'm going to get up and pretend every single day like I'm kicking ass until you actually are, you know, you are going to fail. And I think that that's a hard thing to not only tell people, but for you to face as yourself. So, I totally get that. Do you feel like, what did you do in the Navy?
So
what was your job?
So in the Navy, I was a machinist mate, working with my hands. So we worked in the engine room and worked on, you know, mechanical components. So again, back to working with my hands. I really enjoyed that. Like, I loved it. And so unfortunately, the Navy didn't give me all the experiences I was hoping, but it did kind of instill a lot of, you know, core life values, working hard, and just showing up.
That was my next question. If you felt like what you did in the Navy, in the military, or your experience through there, like, if you feel like it helped shape you, because I know an incredible home inspector. He's actually been on this show.
I saw that.
Eric Eggleston. He is seriously so incredible, because he was in the military for a long time. I believe he was a drill sergeant, and he is so meticulous, and he takes care of things, and he makes them perfect. You know, or he'll get people like you to do it. But he can see it, you know, and he's like, this is wrong, this is a problem. And he is that way because he attributes a lot of that to what he, you know, learned in the military as far as discipline and structure. And so I was curious if you think that played a part in your job now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Navy really changed my life. It changed my perspective, right? I mean, I joined immediately following high school. So it really just changed my, you know, mindset on just opportunity, right? So for the military, a lot of it was showing up, you know. I did have some reserve time as well. And so just making sure, hey, I studied for exams and I was prepared as possible. But yeah, it was really one of the most fundamental things that I've done in my life, and it was life changing. I mean, be able to see parts of the world, and just the opportunity alone just was fulfilling.
What was your favorite place that you went?
So honestly, Hawaii. I mean, a beautiful place. I know it's like part of the U.S. and it's easy to go there, right? But just that place was beautiful. I was able to bring my wife out there. She was my fiance at the time, and she absolutely loves it. She talks about it all the time, like, hey, we need to go back, which we will.
Yeah.
But I mean, just learning about different cultures and the way people think, and it's just like we all have something in common, right? We all want to be successful. We all want to feel fulfilled, and no matter where you're from, I mean, the goal is always the same.
Yeah.
I mean, the Navy was just, instrumental to my success today.
When you went to other countries and stuff, did you get, and this, maybe not something that you necessarily want to dive into, and if you don't, that's fine, but do you feel like when you went to other countries, did you gain more of an appreciation of where you came from? Oh, yes. And so, absolutely. And a lot of those experiences really relate to today. So, a few of our admins on our admin staff are from the Philippines, right? Okay. And so part of working with them is learning about their culture and understanding where they come from. And so I think there's you really don't know until you do it and meet these different people from different places. Sure.
And they all want the same thing again. So,
Okay. So where you guys are at now, did y'all do a relaunch with your business? So where are y'all at now?
So we did a relaunch on March 20th, and that relaunch really was just to reintroduce our company to our customers.
Okay.
A lot of our customers still reached out. We did jobs for them from time to time. And so really the focus, was really just rebuilding and just figuring out how we can add more value. So some of the things we have is upfront pricing, right? When a customer reach out to us, we have a pricing structure that's pretty standard. And so anytime you call Finishing Touches, it's going to be, X amount of dollars.
Okay.
And that's important because we want the retention, right? We want, when they think about whatever they have going on at their house, they can call us and they can really set a budget for the work that they need.
Okay.
And so there's that. We have just super easy scheduling options now. You can book directly through our website. You can call in, you can text, you can email. We have personnel just monitoring that stuff all the time.
Okay. And so if someone wanted to reach out, where are y'all online, social media, website?
So because we've been around for so long, we're built into just a lot of different websites. I mean, we've done the, Home Advisors, Thumbtack, all those things. We have active profiles, but really Google. You can literally Google Finishing Touches and you can find us on there. You can see all of our offices. You can look at our reviews. I mean, we have about 200 5-star reviews. We hold a 4.8, rating.
That's awesome.
On Google. We're A+ rated at the Better Business Bureau. So we've been around, and the credentials are important, right?
Yes.
Making sure we're insured, we have our licensure, making sure we're accredited. So those things we really took a while to get there.
Yeah.
But those are the things that add value. And going to customer houses, we added some complimentary services. Something we do at every appointment now is we'll clean and wipe your front door.
Oh, okay.
It's like, hey,
simple
what's
things.
that?
Yeah.
Right, but it gets the pollen off the front doors, and we also kind of deodorize it a little bit so when you open your door, it smells good.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge thing.
Awesome.
And we've got, free pricing, just a lot of different things that we're really focused on. But the customer experience, adding value, those are the things that we focus on every day.
Yeah, no, I think that is incredible, and I can see how that makes you guys really stand apart. The fact that you've built this for some years and you have a really good foundation with reviews and customer base and things like that, that says a lot, about where you guys are and where you guys are going. So I think that's incredible. If someone wanted to email or call you, what's the contact?
Yeah, so our website is ftupgrades.com. You'll find all our contact information there. You can email us at service@ftupgrades.com. We have a direct line. And so there's always going to be someone during business hours to answer the phones. Call us anytime.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm really glad that we got to learn about that. I think that is so awesome. I will definitely, be supporting you guys. And I know that there are many clients of ours, past and future, that definitely will need your services. And I vouch for you guys wholeheartedly. So
thank you, Allison.
I think that's incredible. Yeah, I'm super glad that you were here. And we'll have you guys back. I know that, we talked a little bit about charity stuff that you guys would participate in, and I think that that's incredible. So anytime you guys want to come back, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And something this year, we're just really focused on being more visible, being a part of, working with our clients or commercial clients to help them in completing and helping them along their journey. So supporting them in any way that we can. So, we want to help you whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, guys, you know how to reach Andre and his team. Please reach out to him if you guys need handyman services. You will see him again. And this is the At Home with Allison show. We're trying to give you guys as much insight, as much knowledge, as much resources as possible to good people, good, reliable companies. And that's the whole point of this, is being able to talk about entrepreneurship, talk about people's journeys, but also the services that they have to offer and to what level. So it's super awesome to have people like Andre here. So continue to reach out to me if you want to participate in this. Continue to watch these episodes on the YouTube page at A Waters Realtor, on my any tag. It's A Waters Realtor on any social media account. We also have these episodes on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. Spotify's glitching for some reason right now, but it will be back on Spotify very soon. And just continue to tune in and support these guys and people like them, because they're grinding out here, they're working to make it happen, and they're good people. And that's what we want to continue to support and give you guys as value. So thank you for tuning in. It's on WQEE every Monday morning at 10 a.m. And of course, you can listen anytime on all the streaming services. So you guys have a great week. Thank you so much. And thank you, Andre.
Yes, Allison, thank you so much.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. It's WQEE 99.1 FM.
Thank you for listening to At Home with Allison, your local expert on real estate, business, and community.
Finishing Touches is a premium handyman service where we modernize the customer journey and process in order to offer you a quality service at a reasonable price. Our handymen are licensed and insured, so you can put your mind at ease when work is done in your home by our team. We pride ourselves in honest work and reliable service while building customer relationships that last. Reach out by emailing aanderson@ftupgrades.com or give us a call at 678-559-4497 to schedule your quote today.